Let me tell you a secret. I have a problem, and it's a problem that we probably share. I'm addicted to screens, and I get my fix wherever I can. When I'm cooking, in the evening, on the loo, if there's a screen, I'm looking at it. So in order to tackle this addiction, I'm gonna have to go cold turkey. This is my van. She's a 2016 Vauxhall Movano that goes by the name Freddie. And for some reason, I've decided I'm gonna spend the next 24 hours in her. Car's going past and I feel silly filming. Here's the caveat, even though I'm going to spend 24 hours in her, she's going to stay right here on the drive. Another car. Okay, let's get on with it. We're in the van and the time has started. It is now coming up to 20 past 11 and this is our home for the next 24 hours, so guess I'll show you around. First things first, we've got the kitchen along with gas hob and running water. We've also got a well-stocked fridge for the challenge, a little 12-volt fridge complete with all the food we need for the next 24 hours. Hopefully, because if it's not enough, I'm gonna die. Probably not. I could probably last a while without as much food. And then of course we got the living area slash bedroom. This does fold out to a bed, but I can't be asked to show you, which is very lazy. I'm in here for 24 hours. I'll show you the bed. There's the bed. This is where I'll be sleeping tonight, hopefully. Not too shabby. Most of you probably realise that there's one major thing right now that might stop me from being able to stay in this van for 24 hours. So let me just show you and we'll say nothing more. Let's leave that there, shall we? I'm as uncomfortable about the idea of crapping in my kitchen as you are. I remember reading a stat recently about how much time the average person will spend looking at the screen, and it was an average of 34 years of their entire lives. I had to dub that in because I don't remember the fact off the top of my head and I don't want to get it wrong. But I remember having a moment of clarity and thinking to myself, do I really want to spend that much of my life looking at the screen? I don't know, there's lots of pretty cool things on the screen. I mean, if you're looking at a screen, that's when you can see things like this. I don't necessarily think that books are a better use of your time than watching videos, because you can learn from videos, but I don't tend to watch videos that help me learn. About an hour and a quarter of the way into the challenge, I've just been reading for a bit, and I just went into my pocket to grab my phone. It only took me an hour and 15 minutes to forget that I didn't have my phone on me, and even if I did, I wasn't supposed to be looking at it. But it made me realise that actually the screen that I'm worried about looking at isn't all bad. It does help me feel connected to people like my wife. But it's probably a good time now to let you know that I'm not doing this challenge by myself. I've actually made sure that I've got someone with me. The one, the only, Lord Philip is here. If you know, you know. Don't mind Lord Philip, he can be a little frosty, but it's nothing to flap about. You'll get used to him, you're just experiencing cold feet. Charlie would have normally stopped me by now. Right, before things between me and Philip get too frosty, he's feeling hungry. I'm feeling hungry, he's not talking to me, not yet. We're making quesadillas. I set about making quesadillas as well as setting up the van for lunch under the watchful eye of Lord Philip. You can call me the Quesadilla King. I imagine that all just slid off. Imagine that. I smashed through lunch without sharing with Lord Philip and even stopped midway through to read my book because I guess I'm that kind of guy now. After lunch I dutifully did the washing up because I'm a big boy before channeling my inner Edgar Wright for this coffee sequence. Oh, there's no way you guessed I'd be able to have iced coffee in the van. And the reason I've made myself this lovely iced coffee is because I'm starting to feel quite lethargic. I think knowing I'm confined to this small space has just made me feel even more tired. It is quite warm as well, so even with that in mind, I think I need to do some moving about. I did do a workout this morning, but I've definitely not got my steps in for the day. I've got no way of counting the steps though, that's the problem, but if I just move around, there isn't exactly a lot of room in here. Right, this is definitely daft, but let's see if we can get our steps in. That's about 8 steps, so I don't know how many times I'm going to do that. It turns out it only takes 4 hours of no screens for me to completely lose the plot. After a while of slowly losing my mind whilst walking back and forth, I decided it was time to try and be productive and do what work I could without a computer. This time actually proved to be really useful, and I found that without any distractions I was really able to get my head down and come up with some great ideas for videos going forward. However, after a while I noticed this fly trying to dig a hole into the wall of my house, and I got distracted. No idea what they're doing. And then I remembered I had this green poppy thing in the van, so I got even more distracted. And that's when disaster struck. Get in! Why do bad things happen to good people? Lord Philip, you're right. We need to save the green poppy thing. We need to save Gary. Green poppy thing's called Gary now, by the way. I frantically started trying to formulate a plan to save Gary. It won't work! Time was against us, and every minute that passed was another minute that Gary suffered outside. After what felt like hours of tension, I had a breakthrough. I scribbled down the plan as fast as I could, knowing that Gary, well, he was outside. Crazy enough that it might just work. The plan is as follows. Step 1, find something long. This should work. Step 2 is to lean and pray. Gary.
Come on, Gary.
Stay with us, stay with us. Damn it, Gary. Eventually it was time to make dinner, and because I had chorizo left over from the quesadilla, I decided to make chorizo pasta. So there we have it, we've got dinner. I actually really love cooking, and being in the van and not being distracted by anything whilst doing the cooking, just focusing on the cooking, not listening to a podcast or watching another video, was sort of quite therapeutic, dare I say. Mindful. That's a word that people use. I'm going to eat this now, so. I proceed to absolutely demolish my pasta before doing the washing up because I'm a big boy, before trying to remove a tomato stain which inevitably I got on myself. As I passed the 9-hour mark, I decided it was time to try something I hadn't done since I was in primary school. Painting. I am not going to be able to do this. This is a bad idea. Fortunately, I've already found my subject for the painting. I'll be honest with you, I am not entirely sure how to start. Like, is it good practice to outline your painting first with a pencil? Alright, okay, maybe I am secretly pretty good at this, because I'm thinking that this is going to look even more like Lord Philip than Lord Philip himself. I mean, sure, I might not be painting Philip his actual colours, but art is all about interpretation, and this is how I interpret Philip's look. I wonder if Van Gogh talked this much when he was painting. Not that we should compare ourselves to Van Gogh, that guy cut his ear off, so what does he know? In all seriousness, this is pretty relaxing. No idea how much time is going by, but I am finding this pretty relaxing. I'm feeling pretty chilled out right now. It's funny because after a while you really do feel like you're just one with the brush, and when you reach that moment, that's when you know that you've transcended someone who is just painting and become someone who is creating art. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Lord Philip. That is not the real Lord Philip. That's the painting. That is the real Lord Philip. You can barely tell them apart. Oh no. As the evening drew in, I decided it was time to make the bed before making myself a decaf tea and pretending to read by candlelight because I think it looks cozy, even though it's clearly too dark to read. I eventually turn the light back on and get ready for bed before signing off for the day. That's pretty much 12 hours in the van done. 12 more to do, and I get to sleep for some of them, so good night. Oh, good morning. It's just gone 20 past 7. I slept for over 8 hours last night, which is really good. It was one of the best night's sleeps I've had in a long time. What I will say though is it took me a while to get to sleep initially because I just kept having thoughts of what if people were trying to get in touch with me? What if there was, you know, a problem or something had gone desperately wrong and people were trying to get in touch with me? I soon sort of rationalised that there would be ways of getting in touch with me, you know, there'd be ways of sending someone over, and I fell asleep, but I did find that a little weird at first. It's very odd for me to not have any communication with my wife before I fall asleep. But once I sort of calmed down, I fell asleep and I've had a bloody good sleep. I don't actually know if I want to get out of bed. I think I need coffee. I made myself a cup of coffee, which went down a little too well, and did the washing up because I'm a big boy before going about my morning business.
Hey, whoa, I thought we weren't going to talk about this.
And then I decided to have a second cup of coffee.
Now I have the power of 2 Coffee John.
But I do feel like I need to move around a bit, so I guess I'm going to get my steps in or something. I just need to move. So I tried to figure out a workout without YouTube to show me what to do.
I've seen aerobic videos, I can figure it out. Who invented planking? Who invented planking? Who invented planking?
I tried to squeeze as much relaxation as I could into the last few hours, and although I was excited to be connected with the world again, I couldn't help but feel I was going to miss this time away from screens. I guess we all need to remember to put the phone down every now and again.
But this has been a relaxing endeavour, and it feels like I've had a reset of sorts, and I want to take advantage of that going forward. And I also want to know that I have this tool in my arsenal now. If I ever feel like I need to take a step back and reset, I'll just get off the screen for a little bit. Seems simple enough.
And just like that, 24 hours was up. I closed everything in the van down, I got out the van, and I basked in the sunlight of my newfound freedom. And then this happened.